everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things. And today I am drinking water in my cool little skull cup. And I have this cute little um straw topper. I got them from Walmart and I was like, yeah, I need those. But I am drinking water because we went to Aggieland Safari and I have to tell you about it. And I don't know when I'm gonna even post this video, so it might be a long time before you even see it. We went October 10th. Okay, so keep that in mind. I don't know how things are gonna be in the future. Now that I'm thinking about it, this video might not come out until like November, December. Okay. Um, so here I am talking about Aggieland Safari. This was really fun and it was hot when we went, but hence the water. But it was still really fun and I wanted to share about it. So I pulled up the website on this side, and if I have pictures that I can share with you that don't have my kid in them or that I can easily like cover her face in, I'll put pictures up here as I talk. Okay? All right, so the hours. Okay, first off, this is in Bryan, Texas. Okay. Um we did some driving to get there. um it's a little off-road to get to it. Like I'm not off-road, but it's like you drive for a while before you get there. Like the street that it's off of is like really narrow, and then the whole entire drive through for the safari is rocks and gravel and sand. So keep that in mind. They're open Thursdays through Mondays. Although I'm looking, it says holiday hours every day but Thursday. I mean Thanksgiving. And Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, Sunday for Christmas. They're closed Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Okay? So maybe just do some research before you decide to go. Go to their website. I'll leave it in the description. They're open 9 to 5. And the last entry is at 4, and the last time that you can buy food is like 4:20 or hold on. Yeah, 4:20 is the last time they'll sell food. Um, so we had adventure passes and we got to do the walking safari and the drive-through safari. And I made it a whole thing. Okay, so like we printed out the pictures of the animals for both sides and I put them all on one page. And then I was like, "Oh, can we find this animal? Is this animal on our list that we were supposed to look for?" And it was fun. Um I do have to say that the walking tour food, not even a tour. Nobody okay, walkabout. The walkabout food was a little pricey, because it has to come in the souvenir cup, which was nice. Don't get me wrong. We like the souvenir cups. We have a collection of souvenir cups. Um, but I joking okay, so it was like $15 for 4 or 5 pieces of lettuce and $4 for 2 sticks, like popsicle sticks that had like that much bird feed on it. And I was like, I could have brought my own lettuce for like $2. and I could have brought my own bird feed. I could have brought my whole bag of bird seed that I have here at the house. That cost like $3. But but we were there for the experience, and there's no outside food. So I was like, "All right, just yep, sign us up for it." And so we got that, and our first stop was the giraffes, and we loved the giraffes. One in particular was like wanted to be in the picture, like straight up. Straight up was like ducked down to be in the picture with us. It was so cute. And then if you just held your hand up, it would come down and lick, like if you were a kid, it would lick your hand. And I it went to lick my hand and I said, "No, I want to pet you." And it like then it nudged my hand and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it understands me." Um sorry. I was so excited and I was kind of upset because the first time my kid fed the giraffe, I almost missed it because I was like, "Here, walk over," and I thought it was gonna take it would be like, "Oh, okay, you have food?" No, it was like, "Hey, a person's coming," and, super cute. We loved it. Then we went walking and we saw some turtles and, um, ones that were not they were not to be fed. They were in a cage, and then there was, like, a barrier around it. Um, I don't even know what kind of turtles they were now that I'm thinking about it. I didn't look. Dang. And then there's also these plaques all over the place about the animals that were inside. Like, the giraffe one had you slid up their face, and then the fax was underneath the face, and then you could slide it back down. My kid had a kick out of that. She read all of them several times. And then occasionally there would be one of those stands that had where you could stick your face in the hole and then you were the animal. We did all of those too. We saw some kangaroos. Oh my goodness, though. There was one mama kangaroo and she had her Joey in her pouch, and it was almost too big to be in the pouch, so its legs and its ears were sticking out, and I was like, "Tell that boy to move out." I was like, "Too big." Um, we fed the where did we fed? The farm animals, the goats. We fed the goats. Um, that was fun. There was one goat that kept, like, nudging the other ones out of the way to get to the food, and my kid was like, "No, this one's not for you. Trying to feed that one." And she would walk over, and then the one that she was trying to feed would start eating again, and then the white one would come over and, like, my kid was like, "No, I already fed you." I do recommend ugh, closed-toed shoes, like tennis shoes, not Crocs, not sandals, tennis shoes. So that because the gravel, it's that fine dusty gravel and rocks will get into your Croc. There was a little girl, complaining that she kept getting rocks into her sandals. So keep that in mind. There is this, like, barn yeah, a barn looking thing that had a whole bunch of, like, ladders and ramps and stuff inside, and then all of them had, like, led to, like, a slide, and then there was, Silo? Yeah, silo. I was like, the thing that goes with the barn that holds the feed? And there was a some stuff in that you could go up, and then they had some little portholes that you could look out. My kid didn't wanna look out any of those, of course. But it was fun. My kid didn't wanna leave that for a while. We sat there for at least 30 minutes just playing in there, and I was like, I'll wait." What else? What else? We saw hogs and warthogs. I don't know how to say that. I don't know if we saw it. Uh, we saw different kinds of animals, okay? I'll put the picture here of the animals that you can find. I don't know how to pronounce all the names. Um, but we enjoyed it. There was a indoor section that had the little aviary, the bird house. And those birds were like, "Nah, we're not eating." Mm-mm. And my kid was like, "You're gonna eat. You're gonna come get it." And so finally, I had to like raise her up so that she could just so that we could leave because I didn't want to deal with a screaming kid. Um, and then they had a nocturnal section. Oh, wait, before we got to that, there was a whole wall of like snakes and lizards. Snakes, snakes. They had some poisonous snakes. And one of them, the black one, my kid deemed her favorite. I was like, "Don't ever touch one of those if you see it in public or out in the world. If you see it, don't get near it. It will eat you. Please don't touch it." Um, we saw some otters. They were so cute. Um, and then there was one bunny. Um, was it a bunny? And then there was like a hedgehog. I think it was a hedgehog, not a porcupine. I think it was a hedgehog. And it was like curled up in the back. And I want to pet. No, you can't pet it. It's in a cage for a reason. You can't put your hands there. But it needs to be my friend. No. We're not gonna touch the animal that has a sign that says "Do not touch." And it's hiding in the corner, which means it does not want to be touched. Um, and then there was a nocturnal section, and there were sloths in there. And what else was in there? I don't even remember. I know we saw a bat in there. It was hard to see things because they're nocturnal animals, so it's dark in there. There is like a red light, but it wasn't bright enough to really see what we were looking at, and then the pictures that I took were kind of blurry. So, but we had fun in the walkabout portion, and then we had to go and get matching t-shirts. Our t-shirts, if I can find the picture of it, I should have brought it in so that y'all could see it, but it's in the wash. Because I wanna wear it. Um, so it says there's 2 tigers, and one of them has its mouth is all, like, rainbow colored, and there's, like, little sparkles coming out of it, and then there's a unicorn horn on the ground, and the other tiger says, "Did you eat the last unicorn?" And the one that has the rainbow mouth is like, "No, no." So my husband and I and my kid, we all have matching shirts now. He didn't get to go with us. He had to work, but we went and we got him a shirt. And then we did the drive-through portion. Had to buy the food for that separately. It's fine. Uh, she asked me, "Do you want 2 containers?" I was like, "Nope, we'll just split one." Yep. And the first thing we saw was zebras, and my kid was so excited because she loves zebras. And, but when we were collecting our bag of feed for the drive-through part, the lady that handed us the food said, "So you can feed all the animals, don't feed the animals over the grate." They have, like, fences for each section, and it has, like, the rolly grate thing. I don't know what it's called, but there's, like, holes in there, and obviously, you don't want food to go down there and then, like, a animal that has a smaller head get its head stuck in there. So, I get it. And, she's like, "Don't feed on the at the gates. Get a little bit in first." And we are like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "And if you see an ostrich coming towards your car, roll up the window. And if you have a sunroof, close the sunroof as fast as possible." And I was like, "Don't worry. I know about ostriches." Because the very I probably the only time I've ever gone through a little drive-through safari thing, I don't even know where it was. Not the one that we went to. Um, when I was a little kid, an ostrich poked its head in and was trying to eat my cousin's finger, and I just remember being so terrified that this thing was coming after me that I threw the bag of food that I had and ducked down in the floorboard, and I was like, "Ah!" Or I think I was like this, "Ah!" And because there was, like this ostrich was, like, very persistent. It was like, "I'm gonna get food." Um, we didn't have any problem with ostriches, and in fact, the ostriches stayed away from our car. I was like, "Thank goodness." We did have some emus come near, though. Um, it was so funny because the emu like, it also didn't put its head in the car, but it was standing outside my kid's window, and she was just, like, breaking the little pieces of food are, like, this long, that thick, a little thicker than your thumb, and she was breaking pieces and, like, throwing them out the window, like, nonchalantly, and this emu was going and would pick up the piece of food and look back at her, and she would throw it, and she'd pick up this piece of food, and I was like, "Oh my goodness." It was waiting for her. It was waiting for her to pick up this food, like, "Okay, next." It was great. And then, the llamas. Llamas? Wait, were they llamas? Yeah, they were llamas. I was making sure they weren't alpacas. They look very similar whenever you're trying to keep animals out of your car. But, they were sweet. I did have one come near my window, and it didn't look so it was like and I was like, "I'm just gonna roll up my window." But the ones that were at my kid's window, they were like and she would give it she would just hold it out, and it would from her fingers, and and then, one of them went for the bag, and I told her, I was like, "Tell it, not out of the bag, no, no." And she said, "No, not out of the bag," and she pulled the bag away, and it stopped, and it backed up a little, and she's like, "I give it to you." And so she was giving it food, and I was like, "Okay, now put your hand out flat and say, 'No more, go away, or move on.'" And she was like, "All gone, all gone." and it pulled its head out of the car and walked on to the next car. I was like, "How you know that they're around people all the time. They know, all gone." Um, we saw a lot of animals when we were doing the drive-through. There were a lot of different kind of deer and different kind of like hogs or pigs. Um, I remember seeing a lot of longhorns. My car got a scratch, so it's my own fault. I was trying it was, like, the last part of the drive, and I was like, "I barely have anything left in my bag, I'm just gonna give it to this guy," and I tried to fling the rest out, but it didn't fling, it just went "bloop," and so then it was like, "Okay," and leaned down, and its horn just across my car a little bit, and I was like, "Great." We also had to wash the car afterwards because there was a lot of animal drool and spit on near the windows. Uh, yeah, that was interesting. The big, big animal, big animal. Hold on, buffalo. It was like the big animal that's furry. Bison? The bison. The big bison. Big. Um, they were, like, blocking the way. They were like, "Nah, this looks like a good place to stand," and they had the car in front of me was, like, surrounded. I was like, "Are we gonna be stuck here forever? Do we need to call the number to, help them out?" Or, um, I'm trying to think, did we see any other animal? Like, I mean, we saw a lot of different kinds of goats. We saw some donkeys. We saw some, donkey horse hybrids? Donkey zebras. Donkey zebra hybrids, which I knew was a thing, but I'd never seen one before. Um, Zebu? Saw some of those. Oh, a zedonk. That's what a zebra donkey hybrid is. I was like, "What was it called?" I was over here looking at the list. I'm like, "I'm gonna find it." Um, that was interesting, and then we saw some normal donkeys. We didn't see it says that there was there might have been miniature horses. There was an elk. I saw one elk. It was off in the distance. It was not interested in the cars. It was just watching as we drove by, and I was like, "Do these things attack?" Um, there was a part I remember there was a part, and there was all of these tiny deers, the tiny little deers, like, hopping all over the place, around the cars, and I don't even know if they were actually eating the food that we were throwing out, but they were, like, bouncing around, and the car in front of me, one of them, like, jumped off, like, boing off their hood, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna run over a tiny little deer, and I'm gonna feel like the worst person in the whole entire world because I can't see. I can't see the little ones." I'm, like, trying to see over, so that part was a little stressful, but other than that, it was a pretty good event. Um, I mean, I'm sure that they would have moved eventually. Um, yeah, there's a nice little gift shop It has, like, a place that you can get lunch, there's some, like, sandwich options, and some soda options, and water, of course. Um, Obviously, it's recommended that you if you're gonna eat, you eat indoors or before you go on the drive about portion, so that the animals don't try to steal your food. Uh, yeah, we had a lot of fun. Um, we had a lot of fun. Also, they have an arrangement of stuffed animals that you can buy, and out of all of them, we had seen so many animals, okay? And their stuffed animals, they had so many different ones. They had the turtles, they had lions, they had zebras, they had donkeys, they had giraffes. No, all of them. Like, you know what animal my kid chose? The naked mole rat. She chose she chose Rufus from Kim Possible. Um, you know. And then she also got a little cup that I put some juice in. Um, because as soon like when we were done with the drive-through part, um, everything was like they were shutting down. So the gift shop area, the bathroom area was shut down. Like we couldn't go there. So we drove straight out, and my gas tank was almost empty, and my phone was dying, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do?" And so I got to like the gas that I had was the exact amount to get me home when we left. Like whenever I pulled up on my GPS, um, and to get to my house, it was like I don't remember. The number was exactly the same as what the number was on my gas tank, and I was like, "I don't trust that." Like, anything could happen. There could be an accident, my gas gauge could be wrong. Like, I could sit at a stoplight longer than it's estimating on here. So we got to the first gas station. It was a little bit more money to spend on gas than I do where I live, like 50 cents more. And I was like, I gotta get gas. So I got gas, and we went inside, and I got me and my kiddo, we got two different juices. I got I can't remember what it's called. No, anyway, I got myself a drink that has electrolytes and caffeine in it, and I got her a juice, a Snapple. And we got some snacks because we were starving. Um, because I wasn't gonna sp I first off, we didn't have time to sit and eat whenever we were in between the walkabout and the drive-through part. Because we took so long at the little playground section of the walkthrough. Um, so we were hungry, and so we got some snacks, and we got to the I got a charging cord for my car because the one I had wasn't working. And I was like, "Okay." So we sat there and we ate some snacks while my phone charged up a bit, and then we went on our way home, and it's a good thing that I got the gas and that I got the charging port because there was a huge accident on the way home, and my GPS didn't tell me until the exit before the accident, and so my only option was to get off and to get back on. So I could have been sitting in the traffic that was on the freeway, but no, it had me get off and sit in the traffic trying to get onto the freeway. I was like, "Really? Really, GPS? That's what you're gonna do to me? You you got me off one before, You could have taken me the back roads, some windy business. I would have been fine. But no, this is the only option now is to be on the freeway. Um, but it was like a 30-minute sit still, didn't go anywhere. Put my car in park and sat there, and me and my kiddo just had some more snacks because we weren't going. Um, but the day was really good. My kid had fun. I had fun. It was educational. It was a hot day though. Of course, the hottest day of October. Okay, up until now. Um, but it was still a pretty good day. And I recommend Aggieland Safari. If you go onto their website, the tickets are roughly $35 online, for the safari drive-through and the walkthrough. But then they also have the option of just the drive-through. There's even a deal for a family 4-pack. Cool. Um, yeah. And then there's all these other things that you could sign up for and do, like close-ups or a happy close-up. Um, yeah. You'll have to go look to see if this is something you're interested in. My kid liked it, and we'll definitely be going again in the future. I don't know when though. I don't know when, but we'll definitely do this again. And that's all I have to talk about. I don't know. What else do you say? Um, like this video if you like this video. A comment below, have you been to Aggieland Safari and what was your favorite animal? Um, do you think it's overpriced? The food and stuff? Like, should you be able to get just the lettuce by itself without the souvenir cup? I feel like they I feel like there should be an option. Like, how many souvenir cups do I need? What if I bring my souvenir cup back? I should have asked that. Dang. Um, too late now. Um, how if you've gone to Aggieland Safari, have you gone back since the first time? Is this like a recurring thing? Do you go every year? When's the best time of year to go? Um, I wanna know if there's a better time than October to go. And, someone else might wanna know also. They also have a Facebook page, so I'll link that below. Subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. If you're not sure if you wanna subscribe to my channel, you can click my face bubble. It'll be down here somewhere, and then you can, yeah, do the things. You can go check my other videos out. I do a lot of book videos, but occasionally I'll do videos on places that me and my kid have never been before, and I think people need to know about. Um, share this video because sharing is caring, and someone else might want to know about this place. I will see you on my next video. Bye.